This is Ryan Elliott for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. We just concluded the weigh-in ahead of Josh Warrington's IBF World Featherweight title defence tomorrow evening. With me, Francis Warren. Francis, how are you?
Good, thank you, mate. All good.
All fighters on way, all good to go tomorrow night. The term we've heard all week for Josh is banana skin. Himself and Sean were very honest at the press conference, saying perhaps in the build-up to the Galahad fight we took our eye off the ball, we got carried away with what's next. How imperative is it that he focuses on Sofyan Takouch tomorrow night before going after those big fights?
If it goes wrong tomorrow night, all bets are off, aren't they? But everyone's overlooking this guy. But it isn't just about Josh's next fights next year. He's got to do the business tomorrow night and look good doing it. I disagree with taking their eye off the ball with the Galahad fight, because that was a tricky fight. We all knew it was going to be a tricky fight, and Josh did what he had to do. And he's got to do the same again tomorrow night, because there are huge fights out there next year. There are huge fights out there, but none of them come into consideration until the final bell goes tomorrow night.
When I spoke to Josh's team about what they've seen of Sofyan, they told me conveniently when the fight was announced, a lot of footage of Sofyan went missing offline. A lot of YouTube videos were deleted, etc. They've gone back and looked at amateur footage and looked at how his coach perhaps trains other fighters. What have you seen of him? What do you expect him to bring to the party tomorrow evening?
It's tough, very game. To be honest, though, I mean, I don't think it matters who's put in front of Josh. If he brings his top-class performance that he's capable of doing, that he did against Selby, that he did against Cole Frampton, that he did against Kid Galahad, because he needed to be at the top of his game that night. Otherwise, he would have got beat by Kid Galahad if he wasn't 100%. And he'll have to do it again tomorrow night. But I think it doesn't matter who you put in front of Josh. I think he's the best in the division, and he's more than capable of beating anyone on his night.
He's had his frustration securing the unification fights and perhaps a big stateside fight. He's got this ahead of him tomorrow night. Obviously, I think you all made it clear that if you could have not had the Galahad fight, you would have swerved past it. That said, I think Kid Galahad's going to purse bids next month for a potential IBF final eliminator. Your thoughts on that? Is it possible that if that all goes through, that Josh may just vacate rather than having that rematch?
Don't. It would be another hard night, wouldn't it? It'd be a tough sell, that one. Because the fight wasn't a barnstormer by any stretch of the imagination. Josh's grit and determination made him come through that night. But what really carried everybody was the crowd that night. If it did happen again, we'd have to hope and pray that they wanted to come and support him again. But it's not a fight that fills me with excitement.
Now, Sean told me at the press conference that if Josh wanted to, he could make featherweight for the rest of his career. No problems with the weight. He looked good again today. That said, do you think super featherweight's still a possibility? Someone like Jamal Herring, or maybe even following Leo and others up if they don't want to face him at featherweight?
So whatever journey Josh goes on, it'll be an exciting one. So just very excited for what's to come. But first and foremost, it's about tomorrow night. So we're talking about big fights at featherweight. Now you're asking about super featherweight. So I think the most important thing is to concentrate on what he's got to do tomorrow night, and the post-fight press conference. Hopefully, we'll have a lot more to talk about.
I won't ask you for any hints or anything like that, if that's what we're getting at. I just want to talk about the rest of the bill. Lynden Arthur faces Emmanuel Anim for the vacant Commonwealth Light Heavyweight title. Emmanuel Anim, an unknown quantity here. That said, he and his team turned up and have been very confident all week. He called Lynden Arthur an average boxer at the press conference. His manager was doing the rounds today with the media, telling them that his man has taken that vacant Commonwealth title home. We've seen it with Ghanaian fighters in the past come over and produce some really exciting spectacles. You're expecting perhaps a very fan-friendly fight tomorrow night between those two?
Yeah, exactly right. Fan-friendly. Lynden is he's one of many best of British fighters that we've got coming through the ranks at Queensberry Promotions, and I expect him to not take his eye off the ball tomorrow. These guys don't fly over for no reason. You can kind of get a feeling from the opponents when they don't fancy it. This guy fancies it. I think it's going to be a bit of a barnstormer tomorrow. But I'm going to back my bad man Lynden Arthur. I think it's about time he made that step up onto title level, and this puts him in a great position. By winning the Commonwealth title, it gets him a ranking in the BC immediately, because obviously they've got a good affiliation, and he's ranked with the IBF already. So we'll at cruiserweight for some reason, but we'll obviously we'll reevaluate that on Monday morning when he's got his Commonwealth title.
Obviously, if he does get that Commonwealth title, some big fights there, very deep division, light heavyweight, especially domestic level. Let's talk about Zelfa Barrett. Tomorrow evening faces Jordan McCrory, someone who's very much been there, done it at domestic level. He's a very good test of where a fighter's at. He's been in the likes of Archie Sharp, Sam Bowen. Talk to me about this fight tomorrow night.
Jordan McCrory is actually one of my favourite fighters to watch. Really, what he did with Sam Bowen really, it really impressed me. And I said to Sam Kinnick straight away after that, we want him back. He's a great. I don't want to disrespect him by calling him a gatekeeper or anything like that, but if he gives Zelfa a tougher night tomorrow than he gave Archie, for example, or Sam, then we know where all the guys are. But obviously, I fancy Zelfa to come through, do a good job on him. I don't think we'll see. Actually, I mean, obviously, I think Sam probably had the hardest night because it was Jordan's sort of first step into fighting at that level, and see if he's still got the hunger and desire to impress. But I fancy Zelfa to do a really, really good job on him tomorrow night. I think stories that are coming out from Pat Barrett about how his training camp's gone and how he's improving, and I think that win over Leon Woodstock, sort of put a set of shoulders on his shoulders. He looks comfortable being here. Looks comfortable in this situation now, and can't see him having too many problems tomorrow night.
Zelfa told me the other day he feels the confidence flow, and Jordan also said, people like yourself praising him for being in fan-friendly fights. A lot of people love to watch him, but he said it's about getting the wins now rather than just being in the good fights and falling short. He said in his head he's putting the mental pressure on himself that this is the last chance. Does that make him a more dangerous man going into tomorrow night?
It does. But then again, if someone's got nothing to lose, then they're coming in with nothing, with no worries. So I think I don't think it makes any difference. I think Zelfa's the guy we need to focus on, and Zelfa's the guy that needs to make sure he puts in a good performance.
Now, one of your stars has crossed over. I wanted to get your thoughts, Francis. Tyson Fury. We've seen him go from the boxing ring to tearing it up in WWE. Can I just get your thoughts on that? Good for his profile?
Yeah, I mean, it's strange because I never thought WWE was real until I'm joking. But no, I mean, it's great for his profile. It's exciting. People want to watch him. I think Tyson Fury could sit down and eat fish and chips this afternoon, and you get a million people watching it. So, it's great. It was a great spectacle, and it looks like he's enjoying himself, which is the main thing.
Early days since the Otto Valen fight, the main concern post-fight was the cuts. Would he be ready for February, etc.? As I mentioned, early days, but have you had any word on how Tyson's healing and how he's looking ahead of potentially going in that Wilder fight next year?
I don't think much changed since my dad commented it on Wednesday. It's just everyone heals differently. So we'll just have to wait and see. Don't think it'll be a problem.
And final thing before I let you go, Francis, the boxing world came to a standstill briefly yesterday. Errol Spence involved in a horrible motor accident. It would appear from what we gathered overnight that he will be okay, but good news for the boxing community that he appears to have came away injury-free from what looks like a terrifying incident.
Absolutely. Just want to wish him all the best. I hope he makes a speedy recovery because we want to see him to continue to wow us all and dazzle us all with what he produces on fight night. I think he's pound for pound well up there, and just want to wish him all the very best and hope he makes a speedy recovery.
Okay, Francis, I'll leave the final word to you. What do we see from Josh Warrington in Leeds tomorrow evening?
I fancy a spectacular knockout, actually. I really do. I think it's steam into him, wear him out, and first quarter of the fight.
Okay, Francis, thank you very much as always for speaking to Boxing Social.